In 2015, the House and the Senate overwhelmingly passed a bipartisan bill that was vetoed by Governor Terry McAuliffe. This bill was the Government Data Collection and Dismission of Practices Act that strictly limited the ability of government to collect information through mass surveillance technology. Would you have voted for HB 1673? And this is a two-part question. Do you disagree with Governor McAuliffe extending the window for holding license plate data from 7 days in the original bill to 60 days?
I actually agree with the governor on this after spending time talking to the sheriff and other law enforcement officials. The only use of this data is if somebody makes a complaint, you actually need to leave enough time for someone to actually make that complaint. So while I agree the data should be destroyed, I believe it actually needs to be held longer, and I believe that the 60-day limit is an appropriate limit.
I actually agree with the governor as well. You heard me criticizing the Dominion bill, but as someone who's been a victim of crime, I have to tell you, 60 days, it seems to be a reasonable time. It used to be 1 year, 2 years, that's completely unreasonable. But to be able to check the data to make sure that nothing's gone wrong, I think it's a very useful thing for law enforcement. And remember, these cars are out in public anyway, and the data can only be used with a warrant. That's very important because I support the Fourth Amendment.
I too agree with the governor, and everything has been said, but not everybody has said it, so I would certainly agree that we need to support law enforcement and support enforcement of the laws that we have, and only use this data with an appropriate court order.
I would have voted for HB 1673. I disagree with the governor. I think there are adequate safeguards in the bill to ensure that data collected by law enforcement could be held for more than 7 days if there's a pending investigation or other rightful causes.
I agree with the governor that 60 days was more reasonable than 7 days. You don't need a warrant to look at somebody's license plate while the vehicle is parked on a public street. The way the bill was written would have potentially interfered with toll collection, with catching stolen vehicles, with traffic cameras, and with all kinds of unintended consequences. It was a hastily written bill using fear tactics to make people think the government was spying on them. What we're really talking about is looking at license plates that are on the street. I think 60 days was a reasonable amount of time to use the data appropriately and then discard it.